belongs to the people who prepared it for today.
Our school offers a curriculum which is designed to assist students succeed in their academic pursuits under the guidance of highly reliable, dedicated, and professional academic associates. School building, creative classrooms with adequate temperature, availability of natural lighting and proper ventilation, proper water, electricity, and sanitary services ensures comfort for us. Our school believes in imparting education that is outcome oriented, for which we have Atal Tinkering Lab, a platform which promotes innovative and creative learning along with advancement in the stream of robotics. Smart class facilities are constantly being updated, and we have the opportunity to access resources both in and outside school using a virtual learning environment. Sports is an integral part of our education system, and to promote it, we have sports arena for table tennis and badminton, basketball and volleyball coliseum. Our school library ensures each student has equitable access to resources. Our labs allow us to interact directly with the data gathered and put learning into practice. In our school, constructive learning is promoted without cramming. Thus, we have an activity area in pre-primary section so that children can learn with fun.
Hello everyone! To make the teaching more effective and interesting, I welcome my children with a smile. First, I interact with them, do some physical exercises, I discuss thought of the day and teach them moral values, good manners and table manners. And then I start with my academics. I introduce the topic and brief it by using finger puppet, face mask and flashcards. After that, to make my class more attractive and creative, I make them do some motor skill activities, play some games and narrate a story. By using all these teaching skills, children learn everything. And if the children are happy and satisfied, it brings a smile on my face and builds my confidence.
Being a mother teacher, we need to focus on the overall development of the children. Starting with manners like table manners, online classroom rules like when to mute and unmute themselves, and studying at quiet place.
While taking online classes, I use various teaching aids like in EVS, I use flashcards, charts, and I conduct various activities related to the topic.
In maths, I use different objects and background presentation to make the topic clear, and I organize different activities to make my class more interesting.
I explain topics using real objects, like here I use abacus to make learning more effective.
In computers, I use live illustration to explain the topic.
As well as I use PowerPoint presentation to explain them briefly.
As an EVS teacher, my main aim is to make the students understand the concepts in such a way so that they can use them in their day-to-day practical lives. Now for that, I mostly prefer using diagrams, flowcharts and live illustrations.
Now for some chapters, I use PowerPoint presentations to explain the topics to students. In chapters like these, different types of houses and different types of clothes, diagrammatic representation makes the students understand the topics more clearly.
Environmental science is all about practical learning, and thus I make sure to explain the topics to my students through live illustrations, like explaining them about the different types of plants. In EVS, activities and diagrams are crucial for the better understanding of the topic.
During these times, when the world is in a pandemic and the education has taken the online mode, I try to make my classes more interactive, using objects and different props.
To make the subject of social science interesting and attention-grabbing, the first method that I use is the lecture method. This method helps the student to learn about the topics with my brief introduction in a simple and understandable manner.
Next method that I use is the project method. It is a teacher-facilitated collaborative approach in which students acquire and apply knowledge and skills to define and solve realistic problems using a process of extended inquiry. Projects are generally student-centered, following standards parameters, and obviously clears the milestones.
The last method that I use is the PowerPoint presentation method. This method helps the student to learn with the help of graphics, pictures and content. This further helps the student to enable critical thinking about the knowledge and intellectual learning about the topic.
Math is everywhere, and being a maths teacher, it is important for me to teach basic concepts like addition, subtraction to shape recognition. I use various methods for different chapters. I use PowerPoint presentation while teaching maths. Like here, I am teaching fraction with the help of PowerPoint to make maths more memorable to them. To make maths more interesting, I take my students to math lab visit and show model of bar graph, angles, and also teach three-dimensional shape with real objects. Some interaction is bounded by internet now. Using technologies for teaching is must. So, classrooms are converted into e-classroom where blackboard presentation are used to teach mathematical approaches, and activities are conducted to make the topic more interesting.
Being an English teacher, I am always looking forward to innovative measures of teaching my subject, in which I employ certain techniques. For example, using audiovisual aids, using multiple charts, models, conduction of ESL, and finally role play.
I use many flowcharts and models while teaching English grammar to break complicated processes down into a series of smaller, more manageable steps.
Roleplay. Roleplay allows students to put learning into practice by enacting the text and the plays.
What a weight off my shoulders! Oof! But still, you will admit now that guess is worse than squeezer. But
And finally, assessment of speaking and listening skills.
according to my perspective, both knowledge and confidence are interlinked. They are just parallel meter, like two sides. If knowledge is the power, confidence is the strength.
Biology. Biology is a very interesting subject, and to make it more interesting and interactive, I in my school use various teaching aids to make it more easy understandable, like charts, microscopes, of plants and animals. We perform various lab experiments and activities as well, and these lab activities and experiments provide the first hands-on experience to the student as to what materials are required and how the experiments are conducted. Experiments are very much necessary as they not only tell us what to do but also tell you about the precaution as what not to do for any experiment to get successful. We have various models like skeletal system, heart, and various models of the various systems that is found in the human body that helps the student for the better understanding of the topics.
I teach computer science in Central Academy Aashiana. This subject includes theoretical as well as practical application and is based on problem solving. In the section, programming languages are taught, wherein concepts are explained with the help of real-life examples and flowcharts. I provide related programming practices and make the students solve the problems for better understanding. Ample hands-on practical sessions are held, including the software development by the students based on the concerned topics. During pandemic, I explained the concepts using live demos of the program execution as well as topic-wise presentations. With the rising digital age, there is a need to develop logical thinking, which is actually the part of computer science curriculum. With this curriculum, I try my best to develop the interest among my students to build their career in the field of digital technology.
I teach business studies in the senior section, and to make my subject more interesting, I use the different types of methods for teaching. The first method of teaching is mind map. Mind map involves the use of keywords, which help the learner in better understanding of the topics as well as the better retention of the content. The next method of teaching which I use is case study. In this method, a real-life situation of business is presented in the form of case. The learner has to read the case and has to try and understand and relate the concept which is taught in the class and has to solve the problem for better understanding of the topic. The third method of teaching which I use for the teaching of business studies is industrial visit. Students, they are taken to some industry wherein they learn how the things are done practically, how the economic activities are carried out in a practical way, to get the knowledge of the things in a best way.
Warm greetings to all. Returning to school should be exciting for children. It's where they get to learn, grow, interact with their friends, and meet the new ones. I'm cognizant of this fact and thus looking forward to implement measures which can help children cope better with the stressful transition of coming back to school during this COVID-19 pandemic. I'm looking forward to the same collaboration and support so that we embrace all the challenges with confidence, steadfastness, and fortitude.
Digital divide was a big problem as it was a Herculean task to train the teachers who were not techno savvy. To overcome the problem, I, along with the principal of the branch, planned several training sessions for the teachers which helped them in conducting online classes smoothly. Fully fledged use of ERP in Aashiana branch was implemented during the pandemic time. After several training sessions from the EduNext team and at the school level, the teachers got used to it and are working on it till date. A new panel room was constructed in the branch during the pandemic time, as the old one was inside the school building and was not safe. Water drainage problem was resolved at the branch by increasing the level of the floor. In future, an activity area is required in the branch. The place for the same has been identified. ATL lab is under construction. To conclude, I would like to say a good education is a foundation for a better future. So let's hope for a hopeful and a better future. Thank you.